boat going forward.
It's hard for for everyone, but for the wing trimmers to keep the flow on the wing. The wing is so big, so powerful, it's easy to stall it. So yeah, it's 90% of my focus, of every wing trimmer focus is on the wing, on the flow.
Yeah, we have our tactician and our coach in the coach booth helping us with comms, and it's actually super active. So it feels like if they were on the boat, and obviously they have access to information that we don't have lifetime, and for us it's an amazing help. So they'll be racing with us on the boat today again.
Well, it's the best time of the day as we are less than a minute and a half away from racing. This will be race number 4. Remember, this race, one more fleet race, and then they cut the field. And Stevie, right now, strategies are in place. It's time to engage.
Strategies in place. That red line, that's the start. It'll turn white when the race is open. And right now, yeah, they're trying to hold that front row place, keep clear wind, and be ready to go.
Emily, it looks like a complete mess right now there, but above, it looks strategically, you want to be where?
Well, it's all about keeping that gap between your boat and the line so that you've got enough space to get your acceleration, but not be too close. You kind of end up over, pushing each other over.
Or hear from Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell.
Exactly, all jostling for the same position. That blue spot there is the target position, the fastest point on the line.
France looks a little early to me, Stevie.
France looks early. Canada is struggling there. They're trying to find space at the bottom of the line. It could work out well for Phil Robertson. France is early. New Zealand a little bit on the early side too. I like where Canada is. Can Tom Slingsby on board Australia wind that green ruse up and going here as we see France nearly stationary in the water with 13 seconds to go. They're going to struggle to accelerate. Spain, I don't see a gap for Spain. It's going to be Denmark, USA at the top of the line. It's all about the acceleration now. USA looks early. This is so tight this start. Watch for that line to turn white. Oh, it's carnage. It's carnage on the start line. Nearly the whole fleet over the line. Well, this is going to get complicated. They've all got to get back behind Spain. Spain will be first at Mark 1, or should be the boat that's able to lead round Mark 1. Everyone else needs to slow up. And
17.
the Spanish back behind them, and it's now a battle to somehow control your positioning to be on the transom, on the back of the Spanish boat when Spain gets to Mark 1. New Zealand, they're clear now. They've dropped behind Spain. France are clear because they dropped behind Spain already, and they're up and racing.
Slow. Can I come up?
And Australia may emerge as the real winners here at mark number 1, as somehow Tom Slingsby finds a path through there, penalty absolved, and he is off and racing.
I think that was my mistake, Todd. I think the Australians were clear at the start line. I just got there were too many sails up on there. That was my mistake. Australia was clear, so everyone needs to now get back behind Spain and New Zealand for when they get to this start line.
The French trying to find a path through here. They are clear. They're allowed to get around that mark, but the Swiss, the Danish, the Canadians are in the way.
And what about the Kiwis, Stevie? They are still mired in the back. I mean, there is a gridlock of boats in front of them.
I'm not entirely sure what they're doing there. I think maybe they're not clear that their penalty's clear. I'm surprised they haven't gone round. All these other boats need to lose this penalty as soon as possible, because once you're past Mark 1, the umpires will just start adding more and more penalty points. As we can see here, look how tight it is in the pack. And the trouble is, as soon as you're near another boat, there's just no wind. The big 29-metre wings block the wind getting to the sails, and Germany are nearly stationary in the water.
Think to me.
Penalties have started to clear as we get round Mark 1 here now. Just Denmark with a penalty outstanding. Everyone else must have cleared out far enough behind the French. And it's really, really tight. A penalty on Germany. That would have been for diving inside Switzerland.
Actually not coming in, Mark. It's actually pretty good, mate.
And somehow Australia and Tom Slingsby got the early invitation to the party, because they are off by more than 200 meters on the rest of the fleet. Remember, this is race number 4. 10 points to the winner of each race, and Australia could desperately use these points.
Could really use the points, couldn't they, Todd? That's for sure.
Yeah, so we've got our live speeds here. The Australians doing 16 kilometers an hour, so really stretching out that gap with everyone behind them doing only about 10. But as you're talking about the points there, looking at the numbers, this is going to shake up our leaderboard massively, as the Kiwis and the Spanish, who were the top 2 boats from yesterday, are quite far back in the pack. So it's going to look pretty different after this.
Yeah, the good news is Australia is away. They were down the leaderboard overall, and the rest of the fleet now, Stevie, fighting for those scraps of second and third. But those second and third points are huge, especially for teams like the USA and Canada.
As it currently stands, these are the teams that would see through to the final. Canada, Australia and France, with US tied on points.
Very, very tight on these points. There's a lot of golf left in this hole, that is for sure. As we see Australia round the gate there, they're round gate 2, heading in towards the fans on the shoreline. And well, it's a real battle of positioning. France have managed to work their way out of that. They did a good job of being clear at the start line as well. As we see now, New Zealand, they're back in the pack. Spain back in 8th place. They've really got work to do. USA right in the fight again. A good first day for Taylor Canfield and his crew yesterday. And if they can hold on to this position here, they'll be in a similar strong position as we see Australia. I mean, they are just gone.
And if you were with us yesterday, the 3 races we had, Stevie, a different course. We had that slalom aspect. That has been taken out. So it looks like a lot of teams now are going, oh, yeah, we don't have to do that S-curve thingy. It is a straight, normal race, as we normally say.
Yeah, that's a great point, Todd. And to be honest, I think that's a real positive, because I like the fact that teams get that opening at Mark 1. The course is clearer. They can sail tactically. It's not such a procession. So I do think that's a nice change we've made for day 2 here. Means the race has opened up already. New Zealand are one of the beneficiaries for that, up to 4th on the left-hand side, our leaderboard. USA as well. They've done well on this downwind leg. Really nice gains by the US here. They're moving up through the fleet really nicely.
Okay, trim the jib. Trimming jib. Good. Hold. No lower for me, Taylor. A good angle. Just be patient at this angle.
Good comms coming off the USA boat. Trying to keep themselves in a top 3 position. Emily, it's a good conversation. You hear a lot from fans and sailor fans. They will say, you know, despite the fact that there's not high winds, this is still high pressure, very technical sailing.
It definitely is, because the teams are working really hard to get one hole flying. But if you try and force it, if you sail a really wide angle to the wind, try and build your speed, you can end up sailing massive zigzags, way more distance than is necessary. So it's finding that balance.
I think the difference as well with sailing, if you compare it to, say, motorsport, the cars will all be restricted to the same horsepower. Well, the horsepower we've got is dependent on what wind you've got on the racecourse. And if you're out in front where Tom Slingsby is in clear wind, he's got as maximum horsepower available. But as soon as you're in the pack and that wind's being disturbed by the boats in front of you, the available horsepower just isn't there. You just cannot go as fast physically.
Just hold your weight for a little, and then I'll go max diff before you.
I mean, Australia traditionally rule the world in the windy weather, but in the light weather, it's been their real Achilles heel. And I think, let's say, Tom Slingsby maybe done his homework.
Well, he talked about Tom Slingsby, that is, talked about getting to start better on day number 2, Stevie. And I don't think it could have gone any better for him. You get 7 teams to get penalties right off the bat, and he finds himself, and it was like Moses parting this Red Sea, went right through.
Yeah, well, he just got the timing spot on and good speed at the gun.
That mark's moving. Up or down.
He's now just got one more manoeuvre he should have here to be able to set himself up. The trouble the Australians have got now, and it's not a big problem, but as you can see, they're so far ahead that they're going to be coming towards the boats that are heading upwind. And those boats coming upwind will normally have the right of way over you. So the mistake Taylor Canfield and the USA made in race 3 yesterday, got a bit of a tangle when out in this big lead. Expect Slingsby, we heard his crew already talking about the other boats, but for Nina Curtis, for Kinley Fowler, who will probably be on the opposite side of the boat to Slingsby, they've got to have their eyes out looking for other boats.
Mark 1 just keeps moving, and we can't catch it.
Oh, when Canada makes contact.
Oh, apologies for the industrial language out there. The course clearly moving around. Our marks there are able to be moved on the race course, but clearly that's not what we need to see. Phil Robertson slightly heightened. That Canadian boat won't be helped by the fact he sat in 8th place. He's going to be feeling pretty tense as it is anyway.
As you look at the screen right now, there you see the Aussies, and look at this one more time.
There we go. We can see that marks moving right in front of Canada, and Canada, oh, wow. They're all controlled remotely, so that they can be moved into position. It's now in position. You can still see a little mark off it, making it quite tricky for Tom Slingsby.
Can you please stop moving Mark 1?
So the Canadians and the Australians don't like it.
Yeah, he's talking about Mark 4 on our screen now. It was Mark 1, but it's being repositioned to be the mark in here. And fortunately, the Australians have got a pretty big lead here. It shouldn't actually affect the result of this race. But unfortunate that he's having to do this extra move here.
Yeah, right here. See the Australians make a bit of a right-hand turn, then it's a left and a straight shot to to the finish line. So first world problems for the Australians right now as the rest of the fleet's trying to sort out 2nd through 10th, as Tom Slingsby will have these 10 points barring any major disaster here. But look at the top of your screen. That is 3 through 9 of everyone trying to get a top 3 position.
We talked yesterday a lot about, can I turn a 9th into a 6th or a 7th? And that's what New Zealand have done right now. They were back in 9th, 10th at Mark 1. They're up to 6th. I wonder how crucial that 3 points could be. For Spain and for Denmark, well, this could be really, really costly. Canada as well, even. They need that result, especially with the USA up in 3rd. Great positioning for the US. And can New Zealand overtake any more boats? There's a little bit more wind.
I mean, this is huge news for the US team. If they can hold on to this position, this will put them in 1st place overall on the leaderboard going into the final race.
The win in race number 4 goes the way of the Australians. Tom Slingsby comes back to Sailgp and picks up a victory on Championship Sunday in race 4. Nice drive by the Adrenaline Lounge, giving the fans a little bit of a wave, and they will quickly debrief, and that is about as close you're going to get in sailing. This is a thing of beauty. The 29-meter wing majestically sailing by the fans here in Abu Dhabi.
Here we go. On the inside, Germany, they have the right of way over the USA. USA have got to give Germany space to round the mark. It's going to be really tight. US are going to get slow in this maneuver here. Has he given enough space? It's almost a mirror image of that move that Canada and Australia had yesterday. Great for the Germans. This could really keep the German team in the hunt to make the final. The points are going to be so tight. 2 maneuvers coming up for Emirates Great Britain. They're very slow coming in here. France in 2nd place. Brilliant result for them. And this is going to give us a tense race 5. That is without doubt.
So Emily constantly crunching the numbers as France comes through. They will grab 2nd. The Germans look like they're going to hold on for 3rd.
I mean, this is a great result for Germany, but it's not quite enough yet to see them move up into that final race. But brilliant news for France and USA. Currently, they're sitting 2nd and 3rd in the overall leaderboard.
Nice. High flyby here for the guys.
There we go. That's a bit of a showboat for the crowd.
Not too much.
Yeah. Oh, they're showing off there. Yeah. Stuart Biffle, the wing trimmer there, clearly managed to get Eric Heil's heart racing a little bit. I'm sure the fans on the shoreline will have enjoyed that.
Taylor Canfield, the Americans, will grab 4th. Good points for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Sebastian Vettel would have felt, team principal of the German team, to see the boat heeling over quite that far. But great result for the US team. 5th place for Great Britain. Well, it might not be enough after a tricky day 1. And then New Zealand in 6th. It's going to be tight on the points. Kiwis need a big race 5.
Emirates GBR will grab that position in 5. 6 goes to New Zealand. Canada will take 7th, and then the battle is on for the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Not far. It's not bad. The French probably jumped us. The US are in front of us.
So Phil Robertson assessing their situation as 7th. Could have done with a better result, but Stevie, 17. That's got to be a Sailgp record. 17 penalized off the start.
Well, yeah, I've got to say, need to review my performance on that one as well, Todd. They were over early. I was overexcited. There was just so much action on that start line, and I think that just is the heightened pressure of these really tight starts. We can see here Switzerland are trying to get rid of a penalty. They've got to let Denmark out past them to clear their penalty, but they don't want Spain getting past in the meantime. So that's what the Swiss are doing there. Their penalty should go off when the Danish go past them.
Yep.
There it goes, and that means they get their 9th. They had to do that aggressive move. A lot of people feeling hard done by on the penalties.
So Denmark will hold on for 8th. Switzerland will drop back to 9th. And Spain, big winners on day number 1, Emily, they get a 10th.
Really disappointing for the Spanish team because they were one of the only teams not to be over on that start line, but just could not get past that bunch in front of them.
So the entire fleet is in, and that is quite a performance for the Australians. Despite the major penalty pileup at the start of race number 4, somehow the green and gold come through and deliver a win when they needed it most. So let's take a look at the report card across the fleet. Remember, we had 3 races yesterday, 2 more fleet races today, and then it'll be the event final. Big winners on day number 2 so far, the Aussies. Australia's report card looks like this: a second, a ninth, a sixth, and a first. France now tied on them with the USA, all even at 26. New Zealand 1 point back at 25, and then you've got Canada on 23, Spain on 22, and then Germany, Denmark, Emirates GBR, and Switzerland. So a lot to play for still. Remember, you want to be in the top 3 after this next race.